Stop everything you are doing right now. Put down whatever is in your hand, silence every noise around you, turn off every distraction, close every other window, every other tab, every other conversation that has been pulling at your attention. What you are about to hear in the next few minutes is not a coincidence. It is not random. It is not just another video that appeared on your screen by accident. Something guided you here, something ancient, something powerful, something that has been watching over you since before you took your first breath in this world. And that something has a name. His name is Michael, the Archangel Michael, the commander of the armies of heaven, the one whose sword has never known defeat, the one whose voice shakes the foundations of darkness every time he speaks. And right now, in this very moment, he is speaking. He is speaking to you, not to the masses, not to the crowds, to you, personally, directly, urgently, because something is about to enter your home today, and you must be ready to receive it. Do not take this lightly. Do not scroll past this. Do not let the enemy convince you that this message is not for you. I know what he has been whispering in your ear. I know the lies he has been planting in the garden of your mind. He has told you that you are forgotten. He has told you that heaven has moved on, that the blessings are for others, that the miracles are reserved for those who seem to have it all together. But I tell you now, with the full authority of the one who sent me, that is a lie. That is the oldest trick in the enemy's playbook. The enemy does not waste his time on those who do not matter. He does not send his most cunning whispers to those who carry no light. The very fact that you have been under attack, the very fact that you have been feeling this heaviness, this exhaustion, this invisible weight on your chest that you cannot explain to anyone, that is the proof. That is the evidence that something extraordinary is about to break through the ceiling of your life. And today is the day, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month. Today. Before this day ends, something will cross the threshold of your home, something will shift in the atmosphere of your dwelling place, and nothing will ever be the same again. But you must be ready. You must be awake. You must be standing at the door of your expectation with your hands open and your heart unclenched, because what is coming cannot enter a closed heart. It cannot land in a fist that is still gripping yesterday's pain. So open your hands right now. Literally, physically, wherever you are, open your palms and lift them just slightly. Because this is not just about listening. This is about receiving. And the act of receiving begins with the posture of surrender. I know you are tired. I know you are so deeply, profoundly tired that the word tired does not even begin to capture what you feel. It is more than fatigue. It is more than exhaustion. It is the kind of weariness that settles into your bones, that makes your soul feel heavy, that turns even the simplest tasks into mountains you are not sure you can climb. You wake up in the morning, and before your feet even touch the floor, there is already a weight pressing down on you. Not a physical weight, something deeper, something that feels like it lives in the very center of your being, in that place where hope used to burn bright, but now barely flickers like a candle in a storm. You have been carrying this for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to walk without it. You have forgotten what it feels like to breathe without that invisible hand pressing against your chest. You have forgotten what it feels like to laugh without a shadow lurking behind the sound, reminding you that the moment of joy is temporary, that the pain will return, that the struggle is never really over. And the worst part, the part that nobody sees, the part that you have never been able to explain to anyone, because the words simply do not exist in any human language, is the loneliness of it all. Not the loneliness of being alone in a room. You can be surrounded by people and still feel this. You can be in the middle of a crowd, in the middle of a family dinner, in the middle of a conversation with someone who says they love you, and still feel it. That aching, hollow, echoing loneliness that whispers to you in the quiet hours of the night that nobody truly sees you. Nobody truly understands the depth of what you carry. Nobody knows about the tears you have cried in silence, in the shower, in your car, in the darkness of your room when everyone else was asleep. Those tears that fell without sound because you had learned long ago that your pain made other people uncomfortable. So you learned to suffer quietly. You learned to smile when your heart was breaking. You learned to say the words, "I am fine," with such convincing steadiness that even you almost believed them. Almost. But not quite. Because deep inside, in that sacred chamber of your soul where no mask can reach, you knew the truth. You knew that you were drowning. Not in water, in silence, in invisibility, in the crushing feeling that you had been left behind by a world that kept moving forward while you stood still, watching everyone else receive what you had been praying for, watching everyone else celebrate what you had been desperately hoping for, watching everyone else live the life that you had dreamed of, while you remained stuck in a chapter that seemed to have no ending. You watched others get the promotion while you remained in the same position year after year. You watched others find love while your heart remained an empty room with an open door that nobody walked through. You watched others receive financial breakthroughs while you counted every coin and prayed that the month would not outlast your resources. You watched and you wondered and you whispered the question that has been burning a hole in your faith for longer than you care to admit. Why not me? 3 words, simple words, but they carry the weight of 1,000 sleepless nights. Why not me? What did I do wrong? What is missing? What invisible flaw do I carry that disqualifies me from the blessings that seem to flow so easily to everyone else? And I want you to know, I need you to know, that every single one of those tears was collected. Not one of them hit the ground and disappeared. Not one of them evaporated into nothingness. Every tear you cried in the darkness was caught by hands that you could not see. Angel hands, my hands, the hands of the one who has been stationed at your side since the moment you were formed in the secret place. Your tears are not wasted water. They are seeds, sacred seeds that have been planted in the soil of heaven's garden, and today, the harvest begins. Now hear me carefully, because what I am about to say carries a weight that your spirit needs to absorb fully. Do not skip ahead. Do not let your mind wander. Do not let the enemy pull your attention away from this moment, because he knows what is coming. He has known for weeks what was scheduled for this day, and he has been working overtime to keep you distracted, discouraged, and disconnected. Every argument you have had recently, every unexpected problem, every strange feeling of anxiety that crept up on you for no apparent reason, every moment of doubt that made you question your faith, your worth, your future, all of that was strategic interference. All of that was the enemy's desperate attempt to make you give up right before the breakthrough. Think about that. Think about the timing of your struggles. Think about how the pressure seemed to intensify recently, how the attacks seemed to come from every direction at once, how you felt more alone and more under siege than ever before. That was not random. That was not just life being difficult. That was a coordinated assault by forces that knew exactly what heaven had planned for you and were trying everything in their power to make you quit before it arrived. And the fact that you are still here, the fact that you did not quit, the fact that you kept breathing, kept praying, kept holding on, even when your fingers were slipping and your grip was failing, that is not just resilience. That is divine stubbornness. That is the mark of someone who was chosen before the foundations of the world were laid. You are not here by accident. You are here by appointment. And your appointment is today. The spiritual realm does not operate on human calendars, but when heaven sets a date, nothing in hell can postpone it. And today's date has been circled in golden ink on the heavenly calendar for longer than you can imagine. Something is entering your home today. Not something vague, not something abstract, something real, something tangible, something that will manifest in your physical reality in a way that will leave no room for doubt that the hand of the Almighty has moved on your behalf. But you must not ignore this. You must not treat this like entertainment. This is a prophetic announcement, and the weight of it requires your full attention and your complete willingness to receive. I am about to reveal to you the nature of what is coming, but first I need you to understand something that will change the way you see everything that has happened to you. Everything. Every delay, every denial, every closed door, every unanswered prayer. Every moment when you felt like heaven was silent and the universe was indifferent. I need you to see it all through new eyes, through the eyes of the Spirit, through the lens of a plan so vast and so intricate that the human mind cannot contain it all at once. What I am about to tell you is this: you were never delayed, you were being prepared. There is a difference so profound between those two realities that understanding it will unlock something inside you that has been dormant for years. Delay implies that something went wrong. Delay implies that the system broke down, that the blessing was on its way but got lost in transit, that someone made a mistake in the heavenly logistics department. But preparation implies intention. It implies purpose. It implies that every single day of waiting was calculated, calibrated, and designed to build something inside you that could not have been built any other way. Think of it like this. A sword does not become a sword by sitting in a drawer. It becomes a sword by being thrust into the fire, by being beaten on the anvil, by being hammered and bent and shaped under conditions that would destroy anything that was not meant to become a weapon. And you, beloved, you are a weapon. Not a weapon of destruction, a weapon of destiny. A weapon forged in the fires of trial and tribulation, tempered by tears, sharpened by suffering, and now finally ready to be wielded by the hand of the Most High for the purpose you were created to fulfill. Every hardship you endured was a strike of the hammer. Every betrayal you survived was a turn in the fire. Every moment of loneliness was a stage of the cooling process that gives the blade its strength. And now the forging is complete. Now the weapon is ready. Now the sword is sharp enough to cut through every chain, every curse, every generational pattern, every invisible barrier that has been standing between you and the fullness of what was always meant to be yours. The preparation phase is over. The deployment phase has begun, and the first sign of it will enter your home today. And I want to share something with you right now because the depth of what we are discussing requires more than just hearing. It requires equipping. There is a sacred guide that was written for exactly this moment in your journey. A powerful digital book called The 7 Swords of St. Michael the Archangel, the sacred guide to breaking curses, sealing blessings, and activating the call of the chosen. This is not just any book. This is a spiritual manual that reveals the hidden rules of the invisible war that has been raging around your life. You know that feeling you have had, that sense that there is a bigger game being played and you are at the center of it, but nobody ever told you the rules. This guide explains those rules. It shows you exactly how each of the 7 swords of St. Michael operates, how they cut through specific types of spiritual bondage, and how you can activate their power in your own life starting today. The link to download this digital book is at the very top of the comments, the first pinned comment on this channel. I urge you to go there now and get your copy, because the content in this guide is so powerful, so revealing that there have been attempts to silence it. But it remains available for those who are chosen, for those who are ready, for those who understand that knowledge is the beginning of liberation. Download it now and as an act of faith, leave a comment saying, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book." Let that declaration be the first decree of your new season. And now let us go deeper, because what I am about to reveal will change everything. Let me take you behind the curtain of reality, behind the thin fabric that separates what your eyes can see from what is actually happening in the realm of the Spirit. Because right now, at this very moment, as you listen to these words, there is a scene unfolding in the heavenly dimension that would bring you to your knees if you could see it with your natural eyes. Imagine, if you can, a throne room so vast that its walls stretch beyond the reach of imagination. The floor is like crystal, transparent and glowing with a light that does not come from any sun or any star, but from the very presence of the one who sits upon the throne. The air is thick with a fragrance that has no earthly equivalent, something between the scent of ancient forests after rain and the sweetness of flowers that have never been named. And in this throne room, standing before the presence of the Almighty, is an archangel whose very appearance commands the attention of every being in every dimension of existence. His armor is not made of metal. It is made of light, compressed and hardened into something stronger than any material the human mind has ever conceived. His wings span wider than the horizon, each feather inscribed with a word of power in a language older than time itself. In his right hand he holds a sword, and this sword is not just a weapon. It is a decree. It is a living instrument of divine justice that burns with a flame that has never been extinguished since the first rebellion was crushed in the heavens. This is Michael. And he is not standing idle. He is standing at attention. He is standing in the posture of one who has just received an order, a direct command from the throne, a mission that supersedes every other assignment he has been given in this season. And that mission concerns you. Your name was spoken in the throne room today, not in passing, not as a footnote in some cosmic agenda. Your name was spoken with intention, with specificity, with the kind of divine focus that rearranges the priorities of heaven. And when the Almighty speaks a name with that level of intention, the entire heavenly host shifts. Legions of warrior angels reposition, assignments are updated, strategies are deployed. And the Archangel who leads them all, the one whose name means "who is like God," turns his fiery gaze toward the coordinates of your life and begins to move. He is moving right now. As these words enter your ears, he is crossing the boundary between the invisible and the visible, descending through layers of spiritual atmosphere, cutting through every demonic blockade that has been erected over your home, over your family, over your finances, over your health, over your mind. The demons know he is coming. They have felt the tremor of his approach. They have sensed the shift in the spiritual pressure, the way the air changes when something of supreme authority enters a territory that darkness has claimed as its own, and they are scattering. Not slowly, not reluctantly. They are fleeing in absolute terror because they know what his presence means. His presence means that a verdict has been issued from the highest court in existence, and that verdict is in your favor. The case that the enemy has been building against you, the accusations he has been filing in the spiritual courts, the evidence of your mistakes, your failures, your moments of weakness that he has been presenting as proof that you do not deserve what heaven has promised you, all of it has been overruled, every charge dismissed, every accusation thrown out, every piece of so-called evidence burned to ash in the fire of divine mercy. And the verdict, the ruling, the final, unappealable decision of the judge of all judges is this: restoration. Complete, total, comprehensive restoration. Not partial, not halfway, not just enough to get by. Full restoration. Overflowing restoration. The kind of restoration that makes the years of loss look like a small price to pay for the magnitude of what is being returned to you. Michael is carrying this verdict in his hands as he descends toward your dwelling place. He is carrying it like a scroll sealed with the signet of the throne, and when he crosses the threshold of your home today, that seal will be broken, and the contents of that decree will begin to manifest in your reality with a speed that will astonish you. Things that have been stuck will begin to move. Doors that have been sealed with spiritual padlocks will swing open so wide that you will wonder how they were ever closed. Conversations that were supposed to happen months ago or years ago will suddenly take place as if some invisible hand arranged them overnight. Opportunities that passed you by will circle back, not as echoes of what could have been, but as fresh, new, even greater versions of what was originally intended. Relationships that were poisoned by misunderstanding will be healed in a single conversation that carries more grace than 1,000 therapy sessions. Physical ailments that have resisted every treatment will begin to lose their grip as the healing power that flows from Michael's assignment reaches into the cellular structure of your body and rewrites the code that sickness has been running in your system. The enemy thought he had won. He looked at your life 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and he laughed. He mocked you in the corridors of darkness. He held up your situation as a trophy before his ranks and said, "Look at this one. Look at how they pray and nothing changes. Look at how they believe and still suffer. Look at how their faith weakens with every passing day." He used your pain as propaganda. He used your tears as entertainment. He gathered his principalities and his powers and his rulers of darkness, and he pointed at your life and said, "This is what happens when you follow the light. This is the reward of faithfulness, suffering and silence and slow decay." And his demons cheered. They celebrated your pain as if it were their victory, but what they did not see, what they could not see because their vision is limited to the immediate and the temporal, was the plan that was forming behind the veil. They did not see the heavenly engineers redesigning the blueprint of your future. They did not see the angelic accountants recalculating the balance of what was owed to you. They did not see the war council gathered around the table of strategy, mapping out the precise moment when the counterattack would begin. And they certainly did not see Michael being briefed for this specific mission, receiving your name, receiving the coordinates of your home, receiving the detailed list of everything that must be restored, everything that must be renewed, everything that must be released into your life in this appointed season. The enemy celebrated too early. He threw his victory parade before the war was over. And now he hears the sound of Michael's approach, that deep resonance that vibrates through every dimension, that sound like distant thunder mixed with the roar of 1,000 lions, and he realizes his catastrophic mistake. He realizes that the suffering was never the ending. It was the setup. It was the contrast that would make the glory shine even brighter. It was the darkness before the dawn that would make the sunrise so breathtaking that everyone who sees your transformation will absolutely know, that this was not luck. This was not coincidence. This was not human effort or clever strategy. This was God. And now listen to me carefully, because this is where the revelation deepens into something so specific that you will know beyond any shadow of doubt that this message was crafted for your ears alone. What is entering your home today is not just one thing. It is 7 things. 7 gifts carried by the one who wields 7 swords. The first is peace. Not the fragile, temporary peace that the world offers. Not the peace that depends on circumstances being favorable, but the kind of peace that settles into the deepest chambers of your heart and makes itself at home there. The kind of peace that remains even when the storms rage outside. The kind of peace that makes you lie down and sleep soundly, even when the rational mind has 1,000 reasons to worry. This peace will enter your home today, like a warm wind that blows through every room, touching every corner, dissolving every pocket of anxiety, every residue of fear, every lingering shadow of dread that has been hiding in the crevices of your daily life. You will feel it. You will physically feel a shift in the atmosphere of your dwelling place, a lightness that was not there before, a quietness in your spirit that is not the absence of sound, but the presence of something infinitely greater than sound. The second gift is clarity. Your mind has been foggy. Your thoughts have been tangled. You have been making decisions from a place of confusion and exhaustion, and some of those decisions have led you into dead ends that cost you time and resources and emotional energy. But today, a clarity so sharp and so clean will descend upon your thinking that you will suddenly see the path forward with a vividness that takes your breath away. Solutions to problems you have been wrestling with for months will appear in your mind fully formed, as if someone drew a detailed map and placed it directly in front of your eyes. You will know what to do. You will know who to call. You will know where to go. You will know what to say. The confusion is over. The fog is lifting. And what you see on the other side will fill you with a hope so fierce that it will feel like fire in your veins. The third gift is provision, financial provision, material provision, the kind of provision that does not just meet your needs but exceeds them so abundantly that you will be able to extend your hand and become a source of blessing for others. Money that was owed to you will find its way back. Opportunities for increase will appear in places you did not expect. Doors of commerce and favor will open, and the resources that flow through them will be more than enough to cover every debt, every bill, every obligation that has been pressing down on you like a stone on your chest. The fourth gift is healing. Physical healing for the body that has been fighting battles it was never designed to fight alone. Emotional healing for the heart that has been broken so many times that it almost forgot what wholeness feels like. Relational healing for the bonds that have been strained, frayed, and in some cases shattered by years of misunderstanding, hurt, and unspoken pain. This healing will not be slow. It will be sudden. It will be dramatic. It will be the kind of healing that makes doctors raise their eyebrows and friends ask what happened to you, because the change will be visible, tangible, undeniable. The fifth gift is protection, a seal of protection that Michael himself will place over your home, over your family, over your children, over your finances, over your health, over every area of your life that has been vulnerable to attack. This seal is not symbolic. It is real. It operates in the spiritual dimension with the authority of the throne behind it, and any force that attempts to breach it will be met with a resistance so fierce that it will wish it had never come near your territory. The sixth gift is purpose. You have been wandering. Not physically, perhaps, but spiritually. You have been searching for your reason, your calling, your place in the grand design, and the search has left you feeling more lost than when you began. But today, a knowing will settle into your spirit, a deep, unshakable knowing of who you are, why you are here, and what you are meant to do with the time you have been given. This knowing will not come from a book or a sermon or a conversation with another person. It will rise from within you like a spring of living water that has been waiting beneath the surface for this exact moment to break through. And the seventh gift is joy, not happiness, which depends on happenings. Joy, the immovable, unshakable, defiant joy that laughs in the face of circumstances and dances on the graves of defeated sorrows. This joy will bubble up inside you at unexpected moments, in the middle of ordinary tasks, in the quiet of the evening, in the first moments of morning light, and it will remind you that you are alive, that you are loved, that you are held, and that the best chapters of your story are not behind you, they are ahead of you, and they begin today. Now I want to speak to you again about something that will amplify everything I have just revealed. The 7 gifts I described are not random. They correspond to the 7 swords of Saint Michael, and each sword operates according to specific spiritual laws that most people have never been taught. This is why so many people receive blessings but cannot keep them, why breakthroughs come and then slip away, why progress is made and then lost. They do not understand the mechanism of spiritual warfare that protects and sustains what heaven releases. The digital book, The 7 Swords of St. Michael the Archangel, the sacred guide to breaking curses, sealing blessings, and activating the call of the chosen, was written to give you this understanding. It is a comprehensive guide that takes you sword by sword, gift by gift, and shows you exactly how to activate the protection, the provision, the healing, the clarity, the peace, the purpose, and the joy that are being released into your life. If this video is speaking about the restoration entering your home, the book shows you how to seal that restoration so that the enemy cannot steal it back. The link is in the top of the comments, the first pinned comment. Go now, download your copy, and leave a comment declaring, "I am chosen and I will download the digital book." Let that be your second decree today. And now let me continue, because there is more to reveal, and the deeper we go, the more powerful this becomes. Let me tell you about the restoration in a way that makes it so real you can almost taste it. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, and for the first time in longer than you can remember, the first thought that enters your mind is not dread. It is not anxiety. It is not the mental list of problems that need to be solved and bills that need to be paid and relationships that need to be repaired. Instead, the first thought that enters your mind is a single, luminous, overwhelmingly beautiful awareness that something has changed. You cannot identify it immediately. It is not like something new appeared in your room overnight. It is more subtle and yet more profound than that. It is as if the very quality of the air has shifted, as if the molecules around you have been rearranged by an invisible hand, as if the frequency of your reality has been tuned to a different station, one that broadcasts hope instead of despair, possibility instead of limitation, abundance instead of lack. And as you lie there in that first moment of waking, you feel something that you thought you would never feel again. You feel expectation, not the anxious expectation that something bad is about to happen, the joyful, childlike expectation that something wonderful is on its way. That feeling that you used to have when you were young, before the world taught you to expect disappointment, before experience taught you to brace for impact, before life piled enough pain on your shoulders to make you stop looking up. That expectation is returning to you. It is one of the first fruits of the restoration, and as the day unfolds you will begin to see the evidence everywhere. A phone call that brings news you have been waiting for, a message from someone you thought had forgotten you exist, a door opening that you had stopped knocking on months ago, a number in your account that makes you blink and look again because surely there must be a mistake. But there is no mistake, because what heaven releases cannot be recalled. The restoration will touch your finances in a way that is both practical and miraculous. Debts that seemed impossible to clear will find resolution through channels you did not anticipate. Income streams that you did not know existed will begin to flow toward you as if guided by an invisible current. Someone will offer you something, an opportunity, a position, a partnership, a gift, that so perfectly addresses your financial need that you will absolutely know, that this was orchestrated by a hand far more skilled than any human planner, and the restoration will touch your body. That pain you have been carrying, that condition you have been managing, that symptom you have been ignoring because you are afraid of what the diagnosis might be, the healing power of heaven is being directed at it right now, not in a vague or metaphorical sense, in a real physical cellular sense. The same God who spoke galaxies into existence is speaking to the cells of your body right now, commanding them to align with the original blueprint of health and vitality that was encoded in your being before the corruption of this world laid its hand on you. You will notice the difference. You will feel it in your energy levels. You will feel it in the quality of your sleep. You will feel it in the way your body responds to rest, to food, to movement. Something is shifting at the deepest level of your physical existence, and the shift has already begun. And the restoration will touch your relationships, that person you have been estranged from, that connection that was severed by pride or pain or misunderstanding. There is a reconciliation on the horizon that will surprise you with its tenderness. Not every broken relationship is meant to be restored, and the wisdom to know the difference will be part of your gift of clarity. But the ones that are meant to be healed will be healed with a grace so complete that the scar itself will become a testament to the power of redemption. And the relationships that are yet to come, the friendships, the partnerships, the connections that are still in the future, they are being prepared for you right now. People you have not yet met are being positioned, their paths being adjusted, their hearts being prepared to receive you just as you are being prepared to receive them. Nothing is wasted in the economy of heaven. Nothing is random in the choreography of destiny. Every delay was a dance step. Every setback was a stage direction, and the performance is about to begin. I want to pause here and acknowledge something that you might be feeling right now. A resistance, a part of you that is fighting against believing what you are hearing. A voice inside that says, this is too good to be true, this always happens. Someone promises something beautiful, and then reality delivers something disappointing, and I should protect myself by not getting my hopes up. I know that voice. I know it well. It is the voice of a heart that has been hurt too many times. It is the voice of a soul that built walls around itself to survive, and those walls served their purpose. They kept you standing when the blows were raining down, but now those same walls are in danger of keeping out the very thing that has come to heal you. So I am not going to ask you to tear down the walls. That is too much to ask of a heart that has been through what yours has been through. Instead, I am going to ask you to do something much smaller, much gentler, much more manageable. I am going to ask you to crack the door. Just a crack, just enough to let a sliver of light slip through. You do not have to fling the gates wide open. You do not have to make yourself completely vulnerable all at once. Just crack the door. Just allow for the possibility, the tiny, flickering, fragile possibility, that this time it might be real, that this time the promise might actually land, that this time the one making the promise has the power and the authority and the will to keep it. Because this is not a human promise. This is not a guarantee backed by human reliability, which we both know is fickle and inconsistent. This is a divine decree backed by the full weight and power of the throne of the Almighty, executed by the commander of the heavenly armies, sealed with a seal that cannot be broken by any force in any dimension of existence. Crack the door, let the light in, and watch what happens next. Now I need to speak directly to the part of you that is wondering why you specifically were chosen for this message, for this moment, for this outpouring. Because the enemy has worked very hard to convince you that you are ordinary. He has worked very hard to make you believe that there is nothing special about you, that you are just one of billions, a face in the crowd, a number in the system, a life that will pass through this world and leave barely a ripple. And I need to destroy that lie right now with the fire of truth. You are not ordinary. You have never been ordinary. The very fact that you have survived what you have survived is extraordinary. The very fact that you still have faith after everything that was designed to kill your faith is nothing short of miraculous. Do you understand what that means? It means that the forces of darkness threw everything they had at you, their best weapons, their most cunning strategies, their most relentless attacks, and you are still here. still standing, still breathing, still hoping, still searching, still open enough to be listening to these words right now, that is not ordinary. That is supernatural. That is the fingerprint of divine protection on a life that matters more than you have ever been allowed to believe. You were chosen, not in some abstract theological sense, chosen in the specific, personal, individual sense, chosen the way a craftsman chooses a particular piece of wood for a particular masterpiece. Not any piece will do. It has to be the right grain, the right density, the right character. And your life, with all its scars and knots and weathered surfaces, has exactly the grain, exactly the density, exactly the character that was needed for the masterpiece that heaven is building in this season. Your scars are not flaws. They are features. They are the unique markings that make you irreplaceable in the design that the Creator is executing. No one else could do what you are about to do. No one else could carry what you are about to carry. No one else could be what you are about to become. And this is why the attack was so fierce. This is why the enemy invested so many resources in trying to destroy you. He was not targeting a random civilian. He was targeting a strategic asset, a key player, a chosen vessel, and he failed. He failed because the one who chose you is greater than the one who opposed you. He failed because the plan of heaven is backed by a power that darkness cannot match, cannot challenge, and cannot overcome. And now that the attack has failed, now that the siege has been broken, now that the enemy's forces are in retreat, the restoration begins. And it begins today, in your home, in your life, in your story. Let me take you into this truth even further, because understanding it fully is essential to receiving what is coming. The concept of the 7 swords that Michael carries is not just symbolic. In the spiritual realm, each sword has been forged for a specific type of battle, a specific type of curse, a specific type of bondage. And the digital book I mentioned earlier, The 7 Swords of St. Michael the Archangel, goes into extraordinary detail about each one. For example, there is a sword specifically designed to cut through financial curses, those invisible patterns that seem to keep wealth from accumulating in certain family lines, no matter how hard the individuals work. There is another sword forged to sever the chains of emotional bondage, the patterns of depression, anxiety, and hopelessness that seem to be inherited like physical traits. If you have ever wondered why certain struggles seem to follow your family, why the same patterns repeat from generation to generation, this guide explains the spiritual mechanics behind it and shows you exactly how to break the cycle using the authority that has been given to the chosen. The link is at the top of the comments, the first pinned comment. Go and download your copy now. Comment, "I am chosen and I will download the digital book." Make it your 3rd decree of the day. And now let me bring you to the summit of this revelation. What is entering your home today is more than 7 gifts. It is a new season, an entirely new chapter of your existence. The old chapter, the one written in the ink of tears and struggle and unanswered questions, that chapter is closing. You can feel it closing even now, can you not? There is a sense of finality in the air, a feeling that something is ending, and it might be causing you a strange mix of relief and grief, because even painful chapters become familiar, and letting go of the familiar is always bittersweet, even when what is coming is infinitely better. But let it close. Do not cling to the old chapter out of fear that the new one might not be real. It is real. It is so real that the forces of heaven have been mobilized to ensure its arrival. It is so real that an archangel has been dispatched to personally oversee its delivery. It is so real that the enemy has been in a state of panic for weeks, trying to prevent you from being in this exact position, listening to these exact words at this exact moment. And he failed. You are here. The words are reaching your spirit. The truth is penetrating the walls you built. The light is slipping through the crack in the door, and the new chapter is beginning. In this new chapter, you will be recognized. The people who overlooked you will see you with new eyes. The opportunities that passed you by will return with interest. The gifts and talents that you buried, because the world made you feel they were not good enough, will rise to the surface with a power and a brilliance that demand attention. You will not have to beg for a seat at the table. A seat will be prepared for you, a seat with your name on it. A seat that has been empty, waiting for you to arrive. And when you sit down in it, everyone around that table will know that you belong there, that the table was incomplete without you, that your presence adds something that cannot be replicated or replaced. In this new chapter, your voice will carry weight. Words that you speak will land with authority and influence. Ideas that you share will be received with respect and consideration. You will no longer feel like you are shouting into a void. You will feel heard. You will feel valued. You will feel like your contribution matters because it does. It has always mattered. But in this new chapter, that truth will be visible to everyone, not just to heaven. In this new chapter, love will find you. Not the kind of love that demands you perform, not the kind that requires you to shrink yourself to fit someone else's comfort zone, not the kind that comes with conditions and fine print and hidden clauses. Real love. The kind that sees you fully, scars and all, and says, "Yes, all of it, I choose all of it." Whether that means the deepening of a love you already have, or the arrival of a love you have been longing for, the new chapter holds it for you. In this new chapter, your health will be restored in ways that defy explanation. Energy will return, strength will return, vitality will return. The body that has been running on fumes and willpower will be refueled by a source of power that does not run dry. You will feel the difference in your mornings. You will feel it in your afternoons. You will feel it in the way you sleep, deep and restorative and free from the restless torment that has been stealing your nights. In this new chapter, your mind will be at peace. The racing thoughts, the spiraling anxieties, the midnight what-ifs that have been torturing you, they will quiet down. Not because the challenges will